Docs, when it comes to your outreach for 2016, there's some really important things you need to know right now so you don't make mistakes into next year. And there's a difference between two different things I want to make really clear. Number one is a lot of times you're being sold a bill of goods. That isn't true. You're being told someone has the map to your success. They'll explain to you. A lot of times these are coaches that are out of practice, haven't been in the trench for a while, and they'll claim to have the map. And while they might have a good look at the topical view of a map and where point A is and where point B is and how they're going to get you there, I'm going to explain a different problem in a second, which is the terrain. Because there's the map and there's the terrain. And knowing the terrain is something different. I'll explain the solution in just a second. But if you do want to grow in 2016, understand we've been helping doctors explode on a really short timetable, massive growth. Students fresh out of school, recently graduated, opening their own offices, doctors who join a program we call Corporate Skeleton Key, or better known as CSK. And in the Corporate Skeleton Key, what they can do is a short time after joining, have events on the calendar, new patients in the door, and growth thereafter follows. But the time it takes to rev up and get going means you need to get started now so your 2016 is explosive, because we all know marketing during the holidays is a bad idea. But listen to this drop-in, short time, quick explosion, and I'll give you some solutions on knowing the difference if you're in a map or you know the terrain. And it's huge, huge mistake that docs need to have cleared up.
We showed up, we did a 10-minute talk. There were about 23 people that attended and 11 new patients signed up, prepaid on the spot. It was one of the easiest things we've ever done.
So this next month coming up in August, it's going to be a fun month. We've got 16 school talks scheduled. We've got a couple talks scheduled as well at dentist offices. And so we're just going to go in there, we're going to rock a 10-minute talk, and as a result we'll get tons of new patients. And when I look at the numbers for the school talks that we've got coming up, the average number of people who are at every single one of those talks is 65 teachers that will be at every one of those school talks. That's the average. We've got some that are 150, some that are 75, but the average is 65. And so out of that, we'll be closing a ton of new patients just using the technology that Brad has when it comes to his 10-minute talk as well. So we're just looking forward to having a great month. If you're thinking about doing CSK, don't think, act. Go ahead and get scheduled now. You won't regret it.
And after my first week of doing 10-minute talks, I think I did 2 or 3 talks. We had 19 new patients the next week. And then the following week, we did another 2 or 3 talks. We had 29 new patients the next week. So now all of a sudden, I'm busier than I know what to do with. And I'm going, oh my God, my systems, everything's freaking out because we have so many new patients.
So one of the mistakes you're making is that you're listening to a coach that doesn't know what they're doing. And I'll tell you the biggest problem that's like making me go nuts this last couple months is the number of docs that have called and say, I'm throwing events, I'm throwing talks, I'm doing things in my office, and it's not working. Well, don't throw the event. Go to the party. Don't host the party. It's a time waster, expensive way to market your practice. Sure, it works over time, but hell, even a blind squirrel gets a nut. Listen, if you want predictable growth, you want to know how you're going to grow, have your CA run the Corporate Skeleton Key, set up your marketing events, and then you go to currently assembled groups. The reason the map and the terrain are different is having the map and knowing from point A to point B what it looks like and what it sounds like. It's way different than those of us who are in the trench and doing it. That's called the terrain. And when you're in the terrain, there's a bump here, there's a dip there, you gotta watch out for this pitfall. We explain that in the Corporate Skeleton Key, every single detail. So you saw one of my favorite testimonials there was Lauren Oberstein. She is the daughter of Ron and Mary Oberstein, 2 prominent chiropractors for 30 years, phenomenal coaches themselves. And I was blessed that they said, hey, we're gonna trust you in setting up her marketing, Brad. And we've done a great job. So her first talk, her mom, Mary, was sweet enough to act as her CA. Mary's a rock star chiropractor. Act as her CA, and she signed up 11 prepaid new patients her first week in practice. Jason, you saw him, 2 talks, 2 weeks back to back, and in 2 weeks after joining CSK, he's got close to 50 new patients, and then Rob, 16 talks in a month. That might be excessive for some of you, but Rob's full throttle. And what we have in CSK, different than anybody else, is predictable growth. And I'd be quick to remind you, I took 7 weeks of vacation this summer We went to Europe for a month and Maui to 3 weeks just to recharge. 7 weeks of family time, because I have predictable growth. Those 3 doctors have predictable growth. And if you're interested in CSK, having your spouse, a student, or even one of your team members set up your talks, we have the recipe. It's reproducible. And you too can have explosive growth on a short amount of time. And maybe most importantly, you'll have predictable growth and you can get back to some good old family time. Hey, cheers, Doc. Here's to your success. If you want more on CSK, go to our site, message me, we'll give you a web tour. And let's get you set up now so 2016 can be explosive on a short timetable. Enjoy your family. Cheers.